Hello. I'm waiting until we are officially live and it's telling me we are. There we go. Hello, my lovelies. How are you? Welcome to this week's training. I am not sure, this looks all a little bit different, but anyways, while I'm waiting to figure this out, look at my new ring. Where are you? Isn't that so cool? And on the side, it's like a comb. Me and my friend Rebecca, we got the same ring because we have some of our, well, I guess they're her beehives, but my husband is taking care of them. My husband is a beekeeper, so I'm basically the queen bee, you know? Anyways, let's get started. So I can't see when you're hopping on, I don't think. So when you're watching, or when you're watching the replay, just let me know who's here because I want to know. It all looks a little bit different. So yeah, let's just get started. How is everyone doing? How are you doing? It has been a while since I've been live. I've been in the group, but I wanted to kind of come up with a new schedule for these trainings because in the past I did one a week and it was getting a little too much. So now what I plan on doing is and I'm going to do this until at least the end of the year, is do 2 trainings a month. And then if I have any other inspiration, I'll just hop in the group and go live. So yeah, see, I know people are watching right now and I can't normally, it's telling you who's hopping on. So let me know in the comments. I want to know who's here. Let me know how you're doing. And yeah, I think we're all good. So yeah, so that's what I wanted to share. I plan on doing 2 trainings a month in the group here from here on out, and then at least until the end of the year, so December, and then I'm gonna reevaluate that. And if there are topics that you want me to touch on in these trainings, let me know. And if I have anything else that I feel like would be really interesting for you, I'm just going to do an extra live video as like an extra for you in the group here. So we just had a new moon in Cancer a few days ago, the beginning of the week. And I'm actually really curious to hear from you how that felt for you, if you have any clear intentions or any seeds that you planted for yourself. So I would love to just hear from you how you experienced that. And the new moon got me thinking about creating some kind of structure as well, which is the topic of today. We'll get into that a little bit more. But if you just think about nature already, right? If you just think about the moon cycles already, and when I look in my garden, you know, everything looks very chaotic. It looks very like everything is happening at once, right? But when you look closely, when you start to realize and notice, there are structures that keep everything going, right? A seed turns into a plant, it blooms, butterflies come, bees come, birds come, right? And when the time is done for that plant, it dies, it turns into compost and feeds the next cycle of growth, right? And it's the same with the cycles of the moon, how it influences the tides, for example, how it influences our emotions. It's the same for the seasons, right? Every season has its own structure, and the 4 seasons in itself are structure. Animal hibernation patterns, right? These are all, you don't really notice it until you become more aware. Of course, we know this because we are nature as well, but it's so hard to kind of forget about that everything is in fact like working together for the whole, right? And just looking at the world right now, I mean, we can all agree These are very chaotic, weird to navigate, very nuanced, right? Very nuanced times. Like there's no one truth to me. And like the external world is very chaotic, right? Lots of things are happening. I feel structures are being broken down and um yeah, being broken down, being um what's the word? I can't think of the word right now. The structures that are in place right now are crumbling down, right? And lots of things are happening. We can all agree that that messes with us too on an individual level in various kind of ways, right? Can feel like people in general, human beings in general, we can feel angry, anxious, fearful, but also very wary, right? Not trusting, for example. So that's what's happening in the external, right? Just a little like intro. And then what I really want to talk about today and what's happening at the same time that affects our inside, right? That affects our inside, our internal experience as well. So on the inside, there's a lot happening as well, right? If not more. And what I specifically want to be talking about here is what can you do to create a little bit more calmness and structure and like spaciousness for yourself, especially right now, because I know the external world is reflecting this back to us on an individual level, but especially when you're feeling overwhelmed, anxious, tired, just that very like feeling of, oh my god, there's so much to do, there's so much to think about. It's that very like frantic energy feeling, right? That there's never enough time, you're not doing enough. You get what I mean, right? That there's so much going on in the world, I can't keep up. I really need to stop watching the news. Like those kinds, it's very overwhelming, right? And I feel right now that's very amplified within us, but this can happen whenever, right? This can happen randomly. This can happen in your business. This can happen in your personal life, family situations, anything, right? And let's go with business, right? Like you feel overwhelmed with all the things that you think you should be doing on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, but you feel like I don't know what to do next. I don't know what to write about. I don't know what to say. Like I have a full to-do list in front of me, but I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. Again, like I'm talking about these frantic energies. And that doesn't just have to do with the state of the world, right? You can feel like that sometimes when everything seems to be fine. Like we can go through phases of this, right? But I find that it always amplifies again because what is happening on the macro is happening on the micro, vice versa, which is where that saying comes from, right? Like be the change you want to see in the world. Because how each of us show up is what creates the world on the external, right? And then at the same time we are of course connected to that greater consciousness that also affects us in turn. And anyway, super deep there, but like we need to be aware of those things because it's not just us, right? We can be picking up on emotions or ideas, thoughts that are like in the consciousness. And when you're very tapped in, we sometimes have to be very discerning of what we're allowing into our space and what's really ours. Anyways, what I wanted to talk about with you today is what you can do when you feel like that, when you feel that chaotic, overwhelmed, not sure what to do next, not sure what to focus on because you feel like your energy is very scattered, right? How can you create some kind of structure, create some kind of momentum again while navigating through these experiences, right? So I'm going to give you 3 tips here. The first one is, let me put my notes. What do you know? This is a very powerful thing because how often How often do you say, I don't know? You know, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to do next. I really don't know. Can be any situation, right? Like, I just don't know. I used to say this way too much, way too much. And then a friend reflected that back to me, and then I became so much more aware of it. I'm like, oh, this is really not a good thing. Like, I don't know what to do next. I don't know how to move forward. I don't know what I want, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know. Like, you get the idea, right? Like, how many times do we say this? And the more you say that, the more you don't know, obviously, right? So an easy way, and this is very, very powerful, an easy way to turn that around is by asking yourself, what do you know? What do you know? Right? You know what you don't want. So what do you do know about what you do want, right? Even though you may not know the complete answer or have the complete vision or the complete um like project ready, for example, what you want to be working on next, what aspects of it do you know? How do you want to be feeling? What do you want to focus on? What do you know? Right? Game changer. Well, if I know I don't want this, right? I may not entirely know what I do want, but I do know that I want it to look like this or feel like this, or I do know that I want to do this together with this person, right? Do you get it? Do you get that? How that completely opens you up to all infinite possibilities all around you? It creates so much more space, right? It creates so much more like, I actually do know what I want, even though it's not 100% clear, right? So powerful. I invite you to really play with that, write that down, journal about that, have a conversation with yourself like I just did. Um, and then the second thing is, what creates spaciousness for you? When you feel overwhelmed or anxious or you have too much going on, right? What does it take for you to create stillness or spaciousness? Do you this is, again, this is like workshop style, right? You have to journal about this for yourself because I won't know for you. Do you need to walk away from what you're doing? Do you need to dance? Do you need to go for a walk and get fresh air? I just recently started doing lay flat sessions, like just for 5 or 10 minutes. I just lay on the floor and just close my eyes. Maybe I'll hold some crystals, and I just I just calm down my nervous system that way, and it's really powerful. So, what can you do? Like, for example, I am now working on, I did the Business Alchemy 5 workshop series, right? The 5 workshops I did here in the group. And I want to create an email series out of that now. So for everyone who still wants to watch these videos, they can sign up with their email. The videos are going to be delivered to their inbox, right? But these emails need to be written. Like, they need content in them, like with the homework and stuff. So when I'm working on that, for example, and I feel stuck, I feel like, oh, I just really don't know what to write. Like, again, that I don't know, right? I walk away. I go outside. I take my dog for a walk. This morning I picked some fresh lettuce out of the greenhouse. I picked some raspberries yesterday. Side note. I walk away, and when I come back, it flows. Like, that's how I create spaciousness for myself, so that I don't get into that cycle of overwhelm and like, oh my God, I don't know, like there's so much to do, right? I take a step back, come back to it, so I don't keep on repeating that pattern for myself anymore. And then the third thing is celebration. How can you celebrate? What can you celebrate today? What have you accomplished so far? Like, I did a load of laundry. I can celebrate that, you know? What can you celebrate this week, this month, today? The more that you can be in the energy of celebration and really feel it, like really feel it, you will see that you always have something to celebrate, right? You're always winning, you're always succeeding, you're already doing so many things, right? It's seriously just a mind trick. That's what we're really doing here is creating different perspectives on how you don't want to be operating anymore, right? Because no one's going to be helped or served, or especially not you, when you constantly feel overwhelmed and chaotic. And I understand that the state of the world sometimes, or your life, or I'm assuming especially when you have kids, it can be very overwhelming and chaotic, right? So how can you create some of these practices for yourself so that that doesn't carry you away anymore, right? We are more powerful than that. We don't need to be carried away anymore. You know what I mean? And I would also say that we are always being invited to give ourselves gentleness, right? Grace for navigating through this very weird world. The one thing that has always stuck with me, because when I first heard this, I cried, that angels would bow for us being on this planet and living this life with all the emotions and handling the ego. And I can't remember where I heard this, but if I do, if you know, let me know. But it was a long time ago when I heard that, and that is like, wow, can we just give ourselves that grace of like, yeah, this is a wild ride. This is a lot we have to um like move through, right? And so yeah, that always stuck with me, and it really helps me to realize like, yeah, I'm doing pretty good, you know? So I hope that helps you as well. I don't know why that came up, but the more that we can drop in and come to the place of truth within, right? Of that truth of what's important to us and our values and who we are, the more we are strengthening our awareness, our intuition, our own space, right? And the more we will realize that we're not meant to just focus on this 3D realm and this physical experience, right? But that we have such rich inner experiences as well. And that's the only thing we have power over, right? Our inner experiences. And everything that actually matters to us. One of my mentors, she was sharing about this last week. It's really so beautiful. Everything that actually matters to us, right? Love, truth, friendship, feeling good, being of service, expressing ourselves, are all experiences we can't see, right? We can't see them, and we can cultivate them within. So we are so much more powerful, and we can use that power for good when we're tapped into that, right? So I hope you can kind of feel that power coming through. So depending on how you operate, right, what works best for you, I invite you to take this like gracefully again, right? Take it day by day. Have a plan in place for your self-care, for your practices that I shared with you here, or if you want to do your own, right? Like, have structures in place for your life, like meal planning, just as an example. Like, have structures in place for your business in which you still feel spacious, but you know you have momentum going, right? Start tracking the moon, right? To have an emotional structure to kind of fall back onto when you can tap into how you're feeling with each phase, right? Like the possibilities here are endless. Keeping track of the seasons, being out in nature, right? But these are all structures that we can kind of fall back onto and to help us shift out of that chaotic and overwhelm kind of pattern, right? And the key is to really find that structure within you, right, for yourself. And I hope I sparked that for you in this very short training, but I know we went really deep, and I know there was a lot there that you can play with, journal on, practice, muse on, talk about. Um, yeah, I mean, I feel like this is really important right now, especially right now. So let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have any topic requests for these bi-monthly trainings. Anything you want to hear more about, anything that you want me to elaborate on from this topic, from this, what I shared with you today. For some reason, I have a feeling that there are people here and I just can't see comments. So when I hop off, I'll check, but I'm sorry, I can't see them. So if you're commenting, I don't know. Um, I gotta figure this out. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. So let me know what came up for you, how this made you feel. I hope my intention was I came in with this. I want them to feel calm and powerful. So let me know what this brought up for you. And I'll see you next time. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll be with you soon. Bye.